Proud to serve northeastern and central Pennsylvania. This is WNEP 16, the news station. Now, Nolan Johannes, Karen Harch, pilot Jack Rulin in Skycam 16, Chief Meteorologist Tom Clark, and Joe Zone on sports. This is Newswatch 16.
Good evening. For the first time ever in Pennsylvania, an artificial heart is being used to keep a man alive.
He's a 44-year-old man from Philadelphia. Anthony Mandia is in critical but stable condition tonight. Doctors at Hershey Medical Center say Mandia would likely be dead right now if he did not receive the so-called Penn State artificial heart. Newswatch 16's Dan Fiorucci has this report on the implant, but we must warn you, the report contains scenes of the actual operation which may be disturbing to some.
That is Mr. Mandia's heart held in the surgeon's hand.
It began at 6 a.m. when the incision was made, revealing Anthony Mandia's failing heart. The operating team was headed by Dr. William Pierce, a native of Wilkes-Barre. Dr. Fred Hensley, the anesthesiologist, is from Lackawanna County's Mid-Valley. As Mandia's fatty and swollen heart was removed, it became apparent just how sick it really was.
That is an enormous heart. The beats were very, very weak and ineffective in providing blood to the body.
Doctors hooked up the artificial heart some 2.5 hours after the operation began. They had decided to go ahead with the life-saving operation just 4 hours earlier, when it became clear that Mr. Mandia's heart was in the final stages of failure.
Absent some urgent intervention, that Mr. Mandia would probably not have survived 24 hours.
Immediately after the operation, officials judged it a success.
Well, it was clear early this morning that Mr. Mandia was dying. As of this point, we would state that as of this point it's a success because Mr. Mandia is alive.
The Penn State heart differs from other artificial hearts because it's not intended as a permanent transplant.
The next 7 days here at the Hershey Medical Center will be a critical period for Mr. Mandia. It's expected to take at least 7 days for him to get well enough to be ready for a human heart transplant, which doctors say will give him a much better quality of life than the temporary but life-saving artificial heart. Dan Fiorucci, Newswatch 16, aboard Skycam.
There are ways to prevent heart disease, things we can all do to cut down on the risk of heart attacks.
All this week on our special series of reports, CPR, the heart of the matter, Frank Andrews has been telling us about CPR, a life-saving technique used when someone is in heart trouble.
Frank is here now with part 5 of the series, and I understand you'll also have some advice on how we can all prevent heart disease.
What the experts say we can do to prevent it. But you know, we've filled over 100 CPR classes already.
Wow.
We've been inundated with calls from people who want to learn CPR. Since we opened the Heart Saver hotline on Monday at noon on Newswatch 16 Midday, we've been getting 1,000 calls a day. Now, we registered people for the free Heart Saver course in more than a dozen counties in northeastern and central Pennsylvania. We're going to make room for more. In a moment, I'll tell you what we've done to help you get through to the operators. But first, a word about preventing heart disease. CPR is a lifesaver, there's no doubt about it. But if we really want to win the war with heart disease, we all have some choices to make.
Doctors say 50% of heart disease in this country is caused by the way we live, by lifestyles and habits we can't control, like our diet.
We all eat too much. We eat foods that are too high in salt content, which have a tendency to bring on high blood pressure, which is a major risk factor for heart disease. We eat foods that are too high in cholesterol content. In fact, the cholesterol levels of people in the United States are just too high.
Doctors say we need to watch our salt intake. It can affect your blood pressure. And make sure that we aren't eating too many fatty foods that can ultimately clog arteries and cause heart disease. Smoking is another factor that doctors say causes health problems.
Cigarette smoke definitely causes heart disease. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And people who continue to smoke are not only harming themselves, bringing on early heart disease, but they're also harming their families. And I think this is something that we have to start recognizing.
A smoker is actually working against his lungs. The smoke can cut down the oxygen supply needed by the heart and other vital organs in the body. We should also be more careful with our blood pressure. It's a simple precaution to have your blood pressure checked like these people in Shamokin. And even if you do have problems, in most cases, it's easy to control. Exercise is something else the experts say should be a part of our life. Physicians say exercise keeps the heart healthy, helps combat stress, and fights the buildup of cholesterol in the body.
Most people have a choice as to whether they develop heart disease or not. They have a tremendous amount that they can do for themselves to try and prevent heart disease.
Prevention is the best medicine, but if heart disease does develop and a person is hit by a heart attack, CPR can be a lifesaver. Now, CPR is not a replacement for the paramedics or the nurses or the doctors. They're the miracle workers. But CPR can give the victim an advantage. To perform CPR, you must get hands-on experience. You can get that experience by registering for our free HeartSaver CPR courses. WNEP and the American Heart Association are offering the courses in your area. Call 1-800-GIVE-CPR. Now, the lines are open tonight till 8, and because of the tremendous response, we're going to open the HeartSaver hotline Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of next week to give you a chance to call 1-800-GIVE-CPR. Special thanks to the American Heart Association for its help putting this series together, to our photographer Neil Gallagher for a super job, and to Cheryl Borisk and Mara Gavin in our Community Relations Department for scheduling hundreds, almost 200 CPR classes all over the area, and to the volunteers whose arm is sore answering the phones.
And to you.
Thank you. Nice being working with the team.
All right. Nice
Good
to have
job.
you here.
Thanks,
Good job.
Frank.
Coming up, just how long should a happy hour last?
Plus the good and the bad news about some bridges in our area.
The way you blew into town and looked all around, well, I knew right then that you were new. You looked so fine and you cut such a fine line that I knew what I had to do. So I'm keeping an eye on you. Keeping an eye on
There's a new truck on the road. It's called Comanche. It's built by Jeep. It's worth a look.
See the 1986 Comanche pickup at your 5-state Jeep dealers now.
Presenting the school play.
Hi, folks. The Statue of Liberty needs our help.
Your Coca-Cola bottler and the Cabbage Patch Kids present a way to help repair America's favorite lady. Just send $7.50 or more, and we'll send you a Cabbage Patch pinup like this one. Part of the money will help fix up the statue, and you may even win a Cabbage Patch Kid in our sweepstakes.
So share the love and help our Statue of Liberty shine again. Get details where you buy Coke.
There's good news and bad news tonight for some drivers in Luzerne County.
First, the bad news. The bridge over the Susquehanna River in the Wyoming Valley has been closed. Newswatch 16's Bob Reynolds is live now near the Breslow Bridge. Bob, what happened there?
Well, Karen, usually at this time of night there are dozens of vehicles here on this bridge, but at this hour the Breslow Bridge between Plymouth and Hanover Township is closed, and that really isn't sitting well with some people. As crews put the signs in place, the grumbling by motorists began.
It's very inconvenient for me. I go over the meat house here quite often. I take shortcuts coming across. The one in Nanticoke's closed now. What's left but the bypass? When that thing's gone, everything's gone.
The closing of the bridge is more than an inconvenience for businessmen. They fear the bridge's closing will mean less dollars at the cash register.
We have quite a large trade from over on the other side of the river, and I don't know how they're going to get here, because it's going to be easier for them to get to Wilkes-Barre than it's going to be to Plymouth now.
County officials are aware of the complaints, but stress they were forced to close the bridge. As you can see, the concrete is crumbling on the span, and experts say one of the bridge supports is actually moving.
If we left the structure open, there is a definite possibility that one of the spans could collapse.
County engineer James Brazina says keeping the bridge open, even with temporary repairs, just isn't worth the risk. If one of the spans fell into the river, especially during rush hour, the results could be catastrophic. Now, the county over the years has been trying to shore up this aging span, but the problems have outdistanced the cures. Tonight, Luzerne County officials simply don't know if the bridge will ever reopen. Now, earlier this year, Luzerne County was forced to close the West Nanticoke Bridge, which is just downstream from here, because of safety problems. But plans are in the works to fix and eventually reopen that bridge. Bob Reynolds, Newswatch 16, with a live Instacam report in Plymouth. Nolan?
Thank you, Bob. And now, the good news for Luzerne County drivers. The 8th Street Bridge is reopened and renovated. Drivers between Jenkins Township and Wyoming have had to make a 7-mile detour since last April. But the 10,000 drivers that cross the Susquehanna here each day aren't the only ones who are happy today about the reopening. Newswatch 16's Marisa Burke found some Luzerne County merchants who are also overjoyed.
This best sums up the feeling from Gil Dominic. He owns this sandwich shop right near the entrance to the A Street Bridge on the Wyoming side. He hopes to sell more sandwiches now because while the bridge was closed, business was way down.
Business actually went down 50% at certain days. And that's a big crunch to overcome because it becomes your profit involved, your take-home money, and you're just reading the bills.
Michael Morial says the bridge reconstruction was at the expense of the business people. With a detour and few drivers in this area, that meant little business for his auto parts store. Morial hopes to recover from the loss.
Well, hopefully, with the help of God and we get our transit business back, everything should be fine. But we'll be okay. We just have to work a little harder, that's all.
Merchants tell me this part of A Street literally became a ghost town in the past 6 months. Too long to have any business suffer, they say. But now that the bridge is open again and traffic is moving again, they just hope that business gets back to normal as soon as possible. Marisa Burke, Newswatch 16, Wyoming.
The state says it's looking to take away some fuel for drunk drivers by cracking down on happy hours.
Last night we told you on the update that the LCB is close to making changes to happy hours in bars and restaurants.
Newswatch 16's Mark Anik is live now at a nice spot in Scranton to tell us what those changes will mean. Mark?
Well, Karen, we are live right now at Bentley's in Scranton, where they are celebrating happy hour, as most bars are doing right now. Happy hour started here at 5 o'clock. It will go till 8 this evening. You can come into Bentley's right now, pay $5, and drink all you want during that happy hour. But all that might change if some new LCB rules go through. Now, let's take a look at what those rules will do and what they say. The proposed rules will limit happy hours to 2 hours only. There will be no more 2 for drinks, no more 2 for the price of 1. There will be no more all-you-can-drink for 1 price, as people are doing right now here in Bentley's. One thing that the bars can do is they can have 1 specialty price drink all day long on 1 particular day. With us right now is Bernie Welch, the general manager here at Bentley's, to talk about those new rules. Now, Bernie, you share an opinion that's different. I know a lot of bar owners think those are some bad changes. What about you?
No, it's happy hour, I guess, is just like everything else. It's had its time. We've reached a saturation point. We've done just about all we can with it anyhow. It's about time we get back to doing our thing.
You seem to sound like it won't bother you. I would expect you to be upset as a bar owner.
It's here. There's no denying we are going to be involved in it. And we're just going to do what we do best. We run an audio video disco, and we're going to be concentrating our energy on that and doing whatever else we can within the rules that are set up now.
Are these new rules going to hurt your business, though? Is that going to mean, you're going to be making less money?
I don't think they're going to hurt it. People still want to party, and they're going to go still where they get the best deal, the best service. It's up to us to go ahead and provide that.
So you'll just have to do some better things from a business standpoint.
We'll do some new things. We'll do things we are doing better, and we'll just keep plugging at it.
Bernie, thanks very much for joining us. Well, bar owners will have to do those new things probably within 30 days. There's a 30-day waiting period. The LCB now has to formally approve the rules. That's considered just a formality, so by November or at the latest December, those new rules will be law. I'm Mark Anik, Newswatch 16, live with the Instacam in Scranton. Nolan?
Thank you, Mark. Next, meteorologist Tom Clark telling us if we'll see any sunshine this weekend.
Hopefully not another washout.
Well, I don't see how it's going to miss us this weekend. Now, I'll be back to tell you when it's going to begin falling.
Want to try a cherry Coke?
Outrageous. I'm going to take this idea into the 80s.
Cherry Coke, it's the one and only. Cherry Coca-Cola. Outrageously smooth, outrageously light.
And now to the year 2000.
Cherry makes it wild, Coca-Cola makes it right. Outrageous.
The weekend weather with our weekday meteorologist, chief man among the tribe. Hello there, Tom.
Hello there, Nolan. Well, here it is. Another weekend is upon us, and once again, that 4-letter word is back in my forecast. But overhead now, I see some breaks overhead, so for the moment, it looks pretty good. Out back now, the temperature here in my backyard, where looks like the grass could use a little cutting. 61 degrees. Humidity 63%. The wind is southwest at 12, a bit gusty at times. And the barometer is still a bit high, 30.37 inches of mercury, but it's on the way down. The high here today, not too bad, 62 degrees. Morning low, 36, 80, and 24. The records for this date, 73 was the high 1 year ago today. And photographer Gail Smallwood found an Easter lily blooming today in DuPont. Why not? Here's the satellite image just in. Now we have a front out in the Midwest here, a lot of rain falling along it. Slow-moving storm will drop some rain over Kansas City tomorrow, but I think it will end in time for the World Series game tomorrow night. But the rain is tracking up along this front, which will come down over Pennsylvania tomorrow and tomorrow night. And so I think tomorrow is going to be the worst day of the two this coming weekend. Here's the radar image. Now take a look. Nothing showing up now over Pennsylvania. That's good news for the high school football games tonight, where you won't need an umbrella if you're heading out. Now some showers now coming into Buffalo all the way down across Lake Erie. Thunderstorm there in Ohio. These showers heading off towards the east-northeast at 30 miles per hour. So here's my forecast for tonight. Half dry. The first half, that is. I think any chance of rain will come after 2 a.m. West Franklin, Bradford County, 53. Music, 53. Stroudsburg, about 53. Sunbury, 54. Homecoming parade tonight in South Williamsport with convertibles. No rain for that. 55 the low. The wind overnight will be out of the south. A sunrise tomorrow morning will come at 7:18. Sunset tomorrow night, we won't see it, 6:16. Cloudy tonight, rain late towards morning. Showers off and on tomorrow. Maybe a few hours of just cloudy skies tomorrow. If you have any work to do outside, you may be able to sneak it in, but off and on showers. 65 on Sunday, partly sunny, as I see it now. We'll update it tonight on 11 o'clock. We'll talk about the comet again, too.
Okay, see you later, Tom. Still ahead, fast relief from Gloria.
And Joe Zone with the Sports Watch. He'll look at the games that'll change the college football rankings next week. Plus the high school story on the 8th week of the season when we come back.
It's a Red Dot Value Maker Day tomorrow at the Globe. Shop from 8 a.m. till 10 p.m. Look for the red dots and save from 10 to 50% off. Plus, you can take advantage of our value makers. Exceptional buys on every floor in almost all departments. Don't miss our Red Dot Value Maker sale or our Toyland grand opening. Savings for the entire family tomorrow, 8 a.m. till 10 p.m. at the Globe.
I love shopping at the Globe. We love shopping at the Globe.
For most of the year, it waits, but the time will come for it to perform. That's why you want a simplicity. You know whatever winter throws at you, a simplicity can throw it back. Simplicities have the power, durability, and features to stand up to winter's worst blows. When the time comes, remember, there's no substitute for simplicity.
Another big night of Friday night football.
This is the time we get to it. We're looking at the 8th week of the season, and that means we've got to seriously start looking at playoff spots. That's what we have tonight between Wyoming area and Coughlin. Number 2, Wyoming area, they're 6-1, undefeated in the Wyoming Valley's Division 1. Number 5, Coughlin, undefeated in the Wyoming Valley's Division 1. We think it's the biggest game of the night. Tim is at Plains Stadium. That's Coughlin's home field. Tim?
And, Joe, we are here with Coach Paul Marenka of the Wyoming Area Warriors. And, Coach, obviously, a lot on the line tonight. And last week you had a very, very good ball club play against you, Dallas, but you seemed to handle them pretty well. As we take a look at the video from last week, you really handled them very well. Why were you able to do so well against them?
Well, I just think physically, the game was kind of a mismatch. We were a little stronger up front. We had a little more skilled people, and we were able to take it to them pretty well.
All right, now this week you're playing a completely different ball club in Coughlin. How have you prepared differently for this club as opposed to Dallas of last week?
Well, personnel-wise, Coughlin is a much better football team. They match up to a size much better and also an athlete. This week, we're not changing a heck of a lot. The big thing is that there's more pressure on this game because the winner of this game will eventually, go on to the Eastern Conference playoffs.
All right, with all the distractions coming along with that Pittston area Coughlin deal this week, any distractions with your club preparing to play that team?
Not really. I think if anybody had distractions, it was probably the Coughlin team. As far as we're concerned, we're coming in to play a good Coughlin football team. The game is going to be won on the field, not in the newspapers or on the TV. So, you know, we're ready for a good night.
Thank you so much, Coach. Coach Paul Maranka of the Wyoming Area Warriors in a big game tonight. Coughlin and Wyoming Area here at Plains Stadium will have the complete report tonight on the sports final. Joe?
Okay, Tim, thank you. 44 games tonight. We'll have all the scores and the highlights on the update. Penn State has a chance to make it 6-0 tomorrow. Syracuse has a chance to knock off another nationally ranked team. Remember a year ago, top-ranked Nebraska rolled into Syracuse's dome and was knocked off. Penn State hasn't lost to Syracuse in 17 years. Last year at Penn State, the defense handled the game and Penn State won 21-3. Syracuse is 2-2. They've been off all week. They've had 2 weeks off, in fact. They'll be ready and fired up in their own building. While that dome is noisy, Penn State will probably have 15 or 20,000 of their own fans there tomorrow afternoon. I think tomorrow you may find out more about Penn State than you did in the win over Alabama. If they struggle tomorrow, if they have a hard time with Syracuse, I think that says the Nittany Lions are still a little unsure of themselves, but they're not quite mature enough yet to go out and play a quality game every week. If, on the other hand, they come out tomorrow and just dominate this game, that tells you these guys are confident that they're going to play football no matter who the competition is. I'm saying Penn State 28, Syracuse 6. Karen's writing it down. Big game tomorrow, top-ranked Iowa against number 2 Michigan. The Hawkeyes of Iowa are averaging 44 points a game. That's tops in the country. Quarterback Chuck Long, a Heisman candidate. Michigan makes its living with defense, the best in the country. They've got 2 shutouts in their 5 wins. They've averaged just 4, they've allowed just 4 points per game. That's a good one tomorrow. You know what I wish about the World Series? I wish that somebody had some grass, some natural turf in this thing. I don't like the way the carpet changes the game. They begin tomorrow night in Kansas City. They say a chance of rain, 8 o'clock pregame show here on 16. I like the Cardinals to win it in 7 games. That's all of it. Give tonight your best shot. We'll see you with all that big high school stuff later on.
Amen on artificial turf.
Yeah,
Wow.
I like the real thing, too. Thanks, Joe.
See you in the update. Still ahead, how do hurricane victims spell relief?
How about C-H-E-C-K, the story when we come back.
In power blowers, quality starts with the design. You want a brand that's made right, one that lasts. Echo. Years of precision engineering make this Echo gas blower better than any electric. Echo is more powerful and no cords to mess with. Echo makes sweeping a breeze, cuts yard work time way down. Echo. Durability, dependability. You know it's going to last. Power equipment for every need. Echo, the one that lasts.
The Echo Power Blower is available at these area dealers.
Finally, flood relief in Scranton.
The reason? A check hand-delivered for $2,000 from the federal government. Ira and Betty Fenton lost their appliances, carpeting, and had their home's foundation damaged by glorious floodwaters in their basement and upstairs. Today's check put a smile on their faces.
That's great. I think we needed some kind of help like this, you know. I mean, money's tight nowadays, and this is going to help quite a bit.
And they are very thankful tonight. That's Newswatch 16 for now.
Enjoy.